Arizona.
Yes.
So
The keel was laid in the Brooklyn Navy Yard in 1914, and it was completed in 1916.
wow, way before World War I.
Right. However, because oil was so scarce that they sent as much oil to the UK because that's where
Sure.
the war was in 1939.
So the concentration of all the extractions went to Europe and UK.
Exactly. So this ship never fired its guns in anger.
Wow.
Okay, it never left the
docks.
well.
Or the actual.
It used to patrol the United States.
The territorial waters
Right.
of the East Coast.
Exactly.
Okay.
But it never went overseas.
Overseas.
Exactly.
So they were never in the international waters.
Exactly.
Right. Right. Wow. So until it was then put it onto the Pacific Theater.
Exactly.
Back
and,
in 1940s.
and in 1941 in Pearl Harbor, okay, the Japanese developed armor-piercing bombs with delayed action fuses. Okay?
Delayed action. So it would hit.
Yes, it would penetrate. Actually,
Penetrate.
what it did, it was a lucky shot, to be honest with you. It penetrated in between the first two
deck.
turrets.
Turrets.
Okay, and went down into the magazine where all the powder and the bombs were, and it blew the ship out sideways, and the ship, because the waters in Hawaii were shallow, the ship went down in 8 or 9 minutes with all aboard, which was like 1,300 crew.
And that was the case of the fatalities to be so high.
Exactly.
On that particular attack.
Right, because it sank in 8 or 9 minutes. Right, and because the waters were so shallow, the superstructures were
still
above, right. And this superstructure right here is out in the plaza,
right. Okay, which I have seen it.
Right, and one of the 14-inch guns are out there as well.
And on one of the Missouris, USS Missouri as well, on the left-hand side.
Yes, there's two guns. One started the Second World War.
Yes.
And one finished the Second
World War in 1945. Is that right? No, 42.
Right. No, 45. 45. Exactly.
Wow. And those two turrets,
those two guns are out there.
Out
yes.
there.
Exactly.
Wow. Wow. How did Arizona managed to secure these
the Secretary of State, Ken Bennett,
at the time of
got in touch with the U.S. Navy, because what they were going to do were to scrap.
Oh my goodness.
Okay?
Yes.
And he asked the Navy Department if he can have 2 of the guns. And they negotiated, and they refurbished the 2 guns, and the 2 guns were shipped here.
Wow, wow. I mean, what a shame. Otherwise, if it had not been rescued that way,
it would have been destroyed.
Sure, correct.
It would have been scrapped.
Scrapped. My goodness. And with all that.
And not only that, but in here.
Yes. Wow. Oh.
Now these are all the serving pieces that were aboard the ship.
On USS Arizona.
On the Arizona, and all the silver and all the copper were mined in Arizona. Okay? But because the conflict in Europe in 1939, they took all of these serving pieces off the ship in January of 1941. That's why it was able to be saved.
Exactly. Otherwise, it would have been pilfered and
it would have been down
in the depths of the ship.
Right. Yes. Exactly.
Wow. And all of this was rescued. My goodness.
Yes.
And this is real silver.
Oh, absolutely.
Wow.
Well, you see, the ship, after the First World War, it was the USS Arizona was the show ship of the U.S. Navy, and it used to go from country to country, and the VIPs came aboard the ship, and these are the serving pieces that were used to impress the VIPs in the various countries. And as you can see,
yes,
all of this silver.
Silver. Wow.
And this is my favorite piece right here.
These are all champagne servers and sort of cocktail serving.
Yeah, well, this was a dip.
Dip for,
you know, your punch bowl.
Punch bowl, right.
And here's your dipper right here.
Oh. Oh.
And these are your goblets.
Yes.
Very impressive.
Thank you. I mean, I've walked into this place for several times over, but I've never come into this one.
Okay.
Unless thank you for taking me through.
Here, this is part of the superstructure of the USS Arizona.
Wow.
Now you've been to Hawaii?
I've been on top of one of the turrets where I see all the seeping of oil still coming out.
This is Ford Island.
Island, yes.
Or they used to call this Battleship Row.
Right.
Because all the battleships were around here. Now all the ships that are in red were sunk.
Sunk. Through that mission of bombing.
December 7th, 1941.
41. Huh. Wow.
Exactly.
Wow. And I was actually on top of USS Arizona.
The Arizona is right here.
Sure. And
see, it was never torpedoed because there was a ship alongside it, so they bombed it.
Bombed. In fact, the aircraft itself, straight into it, right?
Yeah.
Onto
they bombed it.
They bombed it.
Okay, because they had
missiles.
No, they what do you call it? Penetrating bomb, metal penetrating bombs.
Okay, so
with a delayed action fuse, because ordinarily when a bomb
it explodes
on contact, but they had delayed action fuses, and it went down into the magazine and blew it out.
Wow. Wow. So here we are, and this is mangled metal, right?
Yes,
which has been
exactly, from the ship itself.
My goodness. Huh. Wow. Wow.
And now here.
Oh, that's exactly what I saw. The memorial, which is at USS Arizona.
That was
in Hawaii. Arizona Memorial. That's right.
Okay, now we have two shells here.
Yes.
This is a 14-inch shell from the Arizona.
Yeah.
That started the Second World War. And this is the 16-inch shell from the Missouri that ended the Second World War.
Wow. A lot of history is here.
Absolutely. That's why it's a museum.
Wow. Now, the State House was actually decommissioned.
No, down the corridor.
Decommissioned.
The executive tower.
Oh, the executive tower. So the senator is still here.
No, outside.
Outside building.
The House of Representatives is on the left and the Senate
representatives on the right.
Exactly.
So is that because of as the population grew, there wasn't enough space in here to have a chamber for each of those representations?
Well, originally they were here.
They were here because there was enough to manage it.
Exactly.
And hence the population kept increasing. They had to have more representations through different districts and counties.
Yes.
Okay.
And I thank you for coming.
No, I thank you for enlightening me with a lot of